Landscape. Okay, so I've been meaning to do another landscape in watercolor, and I only gave myself an hour to do this morning, so I needed to pick something simple. Alright, so once again, I've been trying to experiment with a lot of different grounds as I get into watercolor so that I can find sort of the papers and that work best with my technique. And so this was my first time using cotton rag to paint on. I already had some that I had experimented with in one of my drawing classes, and I had discovered that it is actually terrible to work with graphite on cotton rag. And when I first started laying down water on the paper, I felt the difference immediately because it just, I don't know, it reacts very differently to the water because it's cotton, it's not made from wood fiber, and so it felt like I had to put a lot more water down, and the color just didn't spread naturally. I felt like I had to put down a lot. I had to do a lot of the spreading just with my brush, and you know, in the end it spread beautifully and it looked great. But it did take some getting used to, and initially when I started working with it, I thought, oh no, I'm gonna hate this. But really, it just took some getting used to. I think once I got used to it, I actually quite liked it. Interestingly enough, I think it is a paper that works, I feel like it works really well for detail. I'm still not sold on the big washes, you know, laying down water and then filling that water with pigment. But when I was just painting with straight pigment rather than trying to fill water with pigment, that worked pretty well for me. I don't know, it was an interesting experience, and overall I'm really happy with the piece that I wound up with. So I think I am gonna give it another try. I think I need to work with this paper a little bit more before I have a final conclusion on how I feel about cotton rag. I will say that dry brushing seemed to work pretty well with this paper. Once it got wet, it stayed wet for a long time, but it was a very workable surface. It was more of a damp wetness rather than, you know, standing water. And another thing I'll say about this, you'll notice that I haven't been taping my paintings down. That's mostly to accommodate the camera because I don't have a board small enough to tape down my paintings and still be able to rotate them while the camera is on the desk. So not taping them down has led to some frustration with the paper sort of curling as I paint on it, and you know, the bumpy, uneven surface from the paper curling causes, you know, pooling in the water, and you know, every paper is different. It varies from one to another and from one picture to another depending on how much water you lay down. The cotton rag does not really curl. So that was really nice to have a piece of paper that just kind of stayed smooth throughout the process of working on it. Now that I look at it afterward, it's got a little bit of curling, but for watercolor, it's in pretty good shape. But when you feel it, I mean, it's a much heavier paper than most, so I suppose that would be expected. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say about this one. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoy landscapes. Snowy mountains are always fun. Yeah, so this was a fun little painting to do. As usual, please comment if you have any feedback, like, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, please share them with your friends, spread the word. I would really appreciate it. Thanks.